Hunting Itinerary welcomes you to Malta. We've been able to define Malta as Hunter's Island for the great passion that the Maltese have for their hunting. It's springtime, and we'll see just how Malta applies the particular spring exception to the law they have for hunting quail and turtle dove during the spring period, during the month of April. We're in April. We won't be seeing heavy game bags, but we'll see the love, the passion, and the tradition that the Maltese have for the spring hunting season. The first light of dawn, and we're out trying to hunt a few turtle doves. The weather isn't the greatest. Actually, the entire season, as Lucas said, isn't the best season. Anyway, the numbers we'll see are certainly small numbers. Because, at best, we are reminded that you can only put down 4 specimens, that is, between quail and turtle dove. What does this mean? It means that in the spring season, each hunter gets 2 turtle doves and may catch 2 quails, or 3 and 1. Therefore, at best, we expect only 4 specimens. Lucas, since the beginning of the season, we're now into the 20th day, more or less, how many turtle doves have you gotten so far? Well, just 1 turtle dove, a couple of days ago. Well, just 1 turtle dove, going out every day to hunt. So, we're at a nice panoramic setting in the company of Sammy, a hunter from this area. We are reminded that, according to the laws on Malta, you may only hunt on your own property. That means the hunted game belongs to the owner of the land, so everyone hunts within his own small space or piece of land. Isn't that true? We are Semi's guests this morning. This is a lodge that peeks out onto a valley. The sea is over there, and we hope that some turtle doves will fly over the area. We also have the woods behind us, hoping that some turtle doves may have stopped over for a rest. They have a special system. They make noise with these strings in the woods. Hear that? There's another hunter on his land, 20 to 30 meters from us, using the same system in order to see if a turtle dove has rested and with the noise decides to move. Let's wait and see what happens. Good luck. We almost had him. Let's just say we were fortunate enough to at least be able to see a turtle dove at a glance as fast as lightning. Semi also tried with his rifle, but to no avail. Well, that's also what it means to hunt. Just think of the sacrifices the Maltese hunters go through, up every morning at 4 a.m., and we were lucky to even spy a turtle dove. Also because if there were any, we'd hear them, and we'd probably see them as well. In a diameter of 20 or 30 meters, not 100, there are many other locations just like ours. We can practically hear each other's voices. We hear their movements, and there wasn't a shot made this morning. We were able to get a shot off, but to no avail. But we at least had the sensation of actually seeing one. I don't know if the video camera was able to film it, as it was as fast as lightning. But you see, Lucas, one must be patient, very patient. And we are.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Okay, how are you? All right?
Ok, avete presa una finalmente?
Yes, we just got one now.
Eh.
Yes, finally, and we send the SMS as well.
Ok, andiamo a vedere. Buongiorno.
Good morning.
Buongiorno.
Good morning.
Buongiorno.
Good morning.
Tu c'hai... Buongiorno.
Mark.
Allora,
So,
allora...
you've finally caught a turtle dove. Let's have a look.
Subito.
We caught one just now.
Yes.
Here it is. Here's the object of our desires. Just look. We're an awful lot of hunters for one turtle dove. It seems absurd, but... Well, there you are. This is the result of many mornings spent in the beautiful countryside. Of course, but just for one turtle dove. Who's the hunter who fired the shot? Well, two of you fired, and you can hear some other lucky fellow. You can hear a few shots every once in a while. The location is beautiful. We're a few meters, perhaps 30, from where we were with Lucas. We heard two shots and had hoped that someone had gotten lucky. Well, we'll patiently wait and see if we can bag another one. So what do you do once you've bagged one? You have to send an SMS.
Yes, you have to send an SMS
Yes.
to WBRU. Then they send you a message back from
Yeah.
the MEPA
Yeah.
saying, thank you for your message.
Ah, ecco qua. Ecco. Allora, si invia
Here you send a message to the authorities, WBRU, that regulates the hunting, and sends you a return message stating, "Thank you for your message. We have registered your catch." Following, there's a card that they call a carnet de chasse.
Later, as soon as you finish the day,
Yes.
at 2 p.m.,
Mhm.
before you go out from here, and you write the date,
Yes.
where you're hunting, for what you're hunting, and
what-
the amount of the day.
Yes. Allora, alla fine
So, at the end of the day, one obviously goes over the data and all catches that have been made. Remember, 4 specimens for each hunter for the entire season. So they caught one in 2 people. Therefore, one of them has to charge it to their carnet. So if he has one, he can only have another 3 until the end of the season, between quails and turtle doves. And this is how hunting is done on Malta. And this is the correct way that the exception is correctly applied for all of the spring hunt. In the month of April, oh gosh, a little windy and a little chilly, but beautiful days nonetheless. The smells, the colors, it's a wonderful feeling to be here. Also in the hopes of an ample game bag. But the most important thing is also to participate. These, in the fall hunting season, we don't have such fresh strawberries. Piping hot coffee, ready together with a bit of anisette. A nice breakfast. We have everything we need. A turtle dove flew by. Hooray for the hunters. Lino Farrugia is the CEO of FKNK, the Maltese Federation of Hunters, Catchers, and Conservationists. It's April, and we're in a hunting lodge. Why is that, Lino?
Thank you. Yes, spring hunting has always been the hunting season of the Maltese hunters and even trappers, because we used to hunt the turtle dove and the quail which are the chief game birds of the Maltese, and we also used to trap them, that is, catch them alive with the nets. Now, spring wouldn't be spring for the hunters and their families if they cannot hunt or trap, practically.
Fine. Well, actually, since you've entered the European Union, things have changed radically. Can you tell us what has happened up till today? I mean, you've recently been attacked by groups of pseudo-ecologists or eco-terrorists, as I like to call them, that don't want hunting in the spring.
Yes, before joining the European Union, we had warned hunters and trappers that things will be much different. Unfortunately, the government at the time insisted that things will not change and we will still hunt in spring as we used to. I have to add that even BirdLife at the time said that they would accept, BirdLife Malta that is, that they would accept spring hunting, but now they are totally against it. We also have, I also have to add that even the European Commission at the time did not say anything that things will change. In fact, it was very tacit about the whole thing. Anyway, we did join the European Union, and the hunt that we were used to of 60 days is today reduced to 21 half days. I mean, and there was a time, like 2008 and 2009, when we were taken to the European Court of Justice, when we did not hunt, and under the precautionary principle. Eventually, the European Court of Justice, in its wisdom, said that in the particular case of Malta, the autumn hunt for the turtle dove and the quail is not a satisfactory alternative solution for the spring hunt of the Maltese hunters. And so we are now applying a derogation in a correct manner, and we are able to hunt. Unfortunately, we are still not able to to capture alive the turtle dove in spring, which is, I have to add, I would call it the tradition of traditions of hunters and trappers in Malta. But eventually, we hope that slowly, we will get there.
Fine. One last question. We know that the law exception disciplines a series of complicated and restrictive situations, and you are continually attacked. However, in this episode, we'll see how the law is applied. In a few words, what does this law foresee?
Well, for example, we are allowed an individual daily bag limit of 2 birds, either to turtle doves, either to quails, or one, whatever, and a seasonal bag limit of 4 birds. Then there is a national bag limit of 11,000 turtle doves and 5,000 quails, and if that is reached, the thing is stopped, the season is stopped. We also have to send an SMS immediately we catch a bird, and eventually, before leaving the hunting ground, we have to fill in the carnet de chasse. These are restrictions. There were even worse restrictions, but slowly we are improving, and we are able to hunt more tranquilly. Unfortunately, as you said, we are getting attacks and provocations from anti-hunting personnel from all over the globe, I would say.
The situation is calm right now. Is it for good, or are there clouds on the horizon?
The clouds, the dark clouds, are that there is a coalition led by the Green Party of Malta, which has never even made it to Parliament, and they are proposing an abrogative referendum to abolish spring hunting. We are also collecting a petition on our end, because we are saying, yes, a referendum is a democratic process, but a referendum should be used against or for something that is of a national issue, like we had like when we wanted to join the European Union, we had a referendum. Yes, that is a national issue, but spring hunting is an issue, is a right, is an interest of a minority group. So we are saying that this is an attack on minority groups, and we have also the support of other minority groups in this sense, and we are still collecting these signatures for this petition that will be presented to the Maltese Parliament.
Let's hope that this petition is welcomed and this restrictive referendum which could result against hunting, and perhaps tomorrow against some other minority group, never passes in Malta, nor in other parts of Europe. Thanks, Lino.
Grazie.
Joe Pesci Colacione is the president of the FKNK, the Maltese Federation of Hunters and Conservationists. So, how important is this spring season to the Maltese people?
Look, it's very difficult to explain in words. Certain feelings are very difficult to come across in words. However, I can compare our hunting in spring to the love of a man to a woman, or the love of a woman to a man. There's a bit of jealousy, there's a bit of hope, there's a bit of waiting, and to us it's such a profound link in our hearts and in our lives that we tend to live most of our year waiting for this short period. And the turtle dove and the quail, the two birds, main migratory birds that we hunt, the only two that we can hunt today in spring, have been for generations a part of our lives, a part of our folklore, and a part of our tradition and culture. So to us, hunting in spring is something innate. We are born into it.
As you can see, we're trying to understand how Malta applies this particular law exception, which allows a brief hunting session during the spring season. We're trying to hear from everyone, all those on the government level. On the scientific level, there is something to be said, and they are entrusted with studying the migratory paths and how the law exception is applied in Malta. We are at EcoServe, a scientific entity that for the last 4 years has been entrusted by the Maltese government to study spring migration patterns of quails and turtle doves. I'm with Dr. Joe Borge, who will explain why this study is being conducted.
Okay, so the study is commissioned by the Maltese government to support the derogation that is obtained from the EU. The study has been carried out for the past 4 years, and basically what we do is count the numbers of turtle dove and quail, and we collect the data from several sites, eventually making an analysis of the data to bring out what we call the daily mean count, which is worked out for each day over the whole period, over the 3-week period during which the study is carried out. The data is analyzed, and eventually we produce a report on the fieldwork, on the data collection, on the analysis, and on the actual differences between the different years, previous ones, compared to, for example, the current year.
Dr. De Bono, Dr. Sarah De Bono, is the product manager of this study, as well as the entity itself. How is this research conducted? What do you do?
Okay, we have 28 locations distributed around Malta, Gozo and Comino. On each particular day, 10 sites are being surveyed. At each location, we have a team of 2 people to identify the birds and to count them. One of them is a hunter, who is important to bring the dog with him to the field survey so that they can flush out the quail. It's an important part of the methodology. On each day, from each location, the standard data sheet is filled in with the counts of the birds, both for turtle doves and for the quail. We also record some data on the weather conditions on that particular day. And at the end, we collate all this data together for the eventual analysis that will result in the report. The initial intention of the study was an invitation is issued to both the Hunters Association, the FKNK, and also BirdLife to assist us in the identification of the birds in the field. However, in the past 4 years that we've been doing this study, we have always had the participation of FKNK with us for this identification of the birds.
There's no need to explain why ecologists don't participate in these scientific studies promoted by the government. We'll let you draw your own conclusions. Whereas, in the last 4 years, as you've conducted these studies, also based on former research, what is the migratory pattern? Have there been significant changes?
No, the trend has been similar. So if you start comparing data from the first surveys done by Tomaidis in 2008, his first studies were 2008 and 2009, and comparing with 2011, 12, and 2013, the trend has overall remained approximately the same. There have not been significant differences. There are some of the years that had less influx and some a bit more, but overall there were not, we cannot see there were large differences.
Now with Lucas, we're now going to see if any quails have entered the area. We have Blanco. He's our German setter, a Kurzar. Let's hope we can find at least 1 or 2 quails. Here's hoping. We're in the offices of the Wild Bird Regulation Unit, together with Sergei Golofin, who is the responsible. Let's immediately ask, what does the Wild Bird Regulation Unit do? Sir?
Yes, right now our main priority, what we are working on at the moment, is to make sure that Malta is compliant with European Union directive on wild birds and also with national legislation. Right now we have a spring hunting season for turtle dove and quail. This is a tradition that has been practiced in Malta for centuries. But of course, since Malta became a member of European Union, we have to make sure that the tradition is also compliant with European law. So what we have in practice is one of the very strictly controlled hunting seasons anywhere in Europe. We have a 3-week season in April. There is a whole system of bag limits, so hunters have to comply with national bag limits, with daily bag limits, with individual bag limit per season. Hunters also have a number of reporting obligations. They have to send an SMS every time a turtle dove or quail is bagged. And this data enters into a database in real time, so we can monitor the uptake of the quota.
What relationship do you have with the Commission in this sense?
Yes, after the end of the spring hunting season, we have to submit a very detailed report to the European Commission, because we have to show that all the rules and regulations have been observed strictly in line with the Birds Directive and also with the outcome of European Court of Justice judgment in the case of spring hunting. Now, we have one of the most tightly controlled and elaborate mechanisms for verification of hunting bags anywhere in Europe. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. We also have a very strong enforcement system. The countryside is patrolled by enforcement officers. We're also using new technologies like unmanned surveillance vehicles. And we have actually one of the highest ratios of enforcement deployment per square kilometer of countryside anywhere in Europe. And we're doing that not because we do not trust the hunting community in the way that they comply with regulations, but because we want to demonstrate beyond any doubt to the European Commission and to the public and even to NGOs that we are complying with all regulations, that our system of controls is credible. Unfortunately, there are a lot of claims, a lot of information that is being propagated in the media about Malta and about hunting in Malta, which is simply not correct. For example, Malta is being accused of killing millions of protected birds. This is one of the most commonly repeated claims. These sort of claims are absolutely untrue, because we have high level of surveillance, high level of enforcement. We have definitely the harshest penalties against illegal shooting of birds anywhere in Europe, of any other country in Europe, and those penalties are being applied in practice. We believe that enforcement and compliance cannot be achieved without genuine cooperation from hunters and from members of the hunting community. And I'm very glad to say that we had registered quite a good progress in this regard. In fact, our statistics, our enforcement statistics, shows that during the time of a legal hunting season, so legal hunting season, the number of illegalities goes down dramatically when compared to another time when there is no open season. So what we need to do is we need to keep this cooperation, both with the hunting organizations, but also with conservation NGOs on the other hand. And our job as the government is ultimately to make sure that we maintain the law and that the law is complied with.
Malta is a small nation, and someone has thought that starting an attack on the little guy would be easy. The Federation of Maltese Hunters, Catchers, and Conservationists has demonstrated that this is not true and fights every day to defend the rights of the Maltese hunters to hunt, also in the spring, besides defending their own traditions. For this reason, I'd like to thank all those who have participated, and especially to Lucas and Lino, who have supported me in this episode. The struggle of the Maltese hunters should be a warning to all European hunters. So, let's raise a glass and make a toast to hunting and to Malta.